Hello everyone, this is Manoj. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'll show you how we can achieve sign in and sign up functionality using Web API and React.js project. To create the projects, I'm using this location. So let's open command prompt first from the same location and let's create a new React.js project. So npx create React app. For React app, I'm giving name frontend app. So it will create our React.js project. As you can see, it has started to create the project. Now let's open Visual Studio to create our Web API project. For this video, I'm using Visual Studio 2019. You can use 2017 or 2022. So click on New Project. From the template, we'll select C# and Web API. So you can see from here, click on Next. For this, let me give name backend app and I'm giving the same location as React.js project. Click on create. So web API create. So this will create our web API project which we will use to write our APIs which we will use in the React.js project. So it will take some time. So our web API project is ready. So we can see in the Solution Explorer, this is the default folder structure. So we have two controllers. This is MVC controller, this is API controller. We have areas, we have app start. Here we have all config files, models folder, scripts, views, so on and so forth. So let me close this. Let's see. Yeah, we are done with our React.js project also. So let's go to this folder by command cd and the folder name. And from here, type code space dot. So it will open our project in VS Code directly. Let me close the command prompt. So this is our default, interface of our React.js project. So if I expand the source folder, which is src, so we have app.js, index.cs, index.js. Okay, so go to terminal, new terminal, and here we'll try to run this application by using the command npm start. So npm start. So it will start the development server and we can see the default React.js project in our browser. Let's also run this web API project by clicking on this button. So we'll see the default page of web API in browser. So my default browser is Google Chrome. So we'll see both of the project in Google Chrome only. So as you can see, this is our default web API interface. And in the new tab, localhost colon 3000, this is the default port number of our React.js project. So our API is running. So this is the default React.js application. And let's add one more controller. Click on add controller. Click on MVC5 empty. Click on add. Now we need to give a name. So here I'm giving name test controller. Click on add. It will add our controller. Let me also open SQL Server because we need one table. So our test controller has been added as you can see here. So let me remove. I think I have added the wrong controller. Let me delete this. We need a web API controller. So click on add controller, web API, this one, add test now. So you can see API controller. So now this is web API controller. So first go to models folder. Let's add one model class. Let's say employee, and let's add some properties. So shortcut is prop, then hit tab. So first property is ID. Second property is name, and third property, let's say phone number, and last property should be, let's say, address. So we'll use this, and let's add one more property called is active. Is active means if you are giving value 1, so it is an active employee, and if you are marking that is active 0, it means that employee is no longer in the company or in the organization. So we will not display that data on the front end. So we are done with our employee model. So save. Now first go to your web config. So here we need to declare our web config. So after this app settings, add connection string tag. Inside this we need to give a name. I'm giving name con, and then connection string. The first attribute is server. So go to your SQL server. So this is your server name. Copy, paste, and then the database. Let's connect this one. So we'll use the master database. Let me give name master. And if you notice, I'm using Windows authentication. So there is no need to give username and password. So we will give integrated security as true. Save. We are done with our connection string. Go to your test controller. Now we need to add some namespaces. So using system.data. Another one is data.sql client. So let's create our SQL connection. Let's add one more namespace. So using system.configuration. So here in the SQL connection parameters, give configuration manager dot connection string, name of your connection dot connection string. So you need to copy this name and paste it here. So our connection is ready. Let me remove this. Now go to your SQL server, click on new query. So by default it will open your master database, and here let's create a table. Create table emp management id. Let's make it auto increment one by one. So we don't need to give it every time when we create a new employee, and make it primary key, and then name we will use varchar with the length of 100, and we have phone number, and we have address, and we have is active as int. So select this command, execute. A table has been created. Select star from the table name, which is EMP management. So there is no row. Perfect. Now let's create a stored procedure. We'll use stored procedure in our web API. So create proc USP login. So here we will pass two parameters at name varchar and let me phone number varchar. So I'm using so I'm using name and phone number as the credentials. If you want, you can create email ID, password, username, whatever is your requirement. So you can create those fields and you can use them here. All right. So begin and now select star from EMP management where name equal at name and at phone equal sorry at the rate phone. Let me copy paste, and this is your tables field and this is your variable. Create. Similarly, copy this one, paste USP registration name, phone number, address, and is active. And now we need to change the command, which is insert into employee management. Now give the field names, name, phone number, address is active. Now values. So let's copy these four fields and put at the rate because we are taking values from the variables. That's it. Select this procedure. So we have two procedures now. All right. So we are done with our database part. Now go back to web API in the test controller. So let's declare a method for login. So let's create a method for registration first. So route registration public string registration. It will take our employee class as parameter. We need to include the namespace, which is models. So click on IntelliSense app model. Perfect. So now let's also add SQL command object cmd equal null. So now cmd is equal to new command. For our registration, we need to copy our registration SP name. SP means stored procedure. And now we need to give the connection object, which is con in our case. Okay. Now we need to give the parameters. So cmd dot parameters dot add with value. So the first parameter of our registration SP is name and Here we will get name from employee dot name. Let's copy this and change all parameters. So the second one is phone. So employee dot phone number, address, employee dot address is active, employee dot is active. Nice. And here we need to give the command type. So cmd dot command type is equal to command type dot stored procedure. And now after adding all the parameters, we need to open our connection. So connection dot open and int I equal to cmd dot execute non-query. So it will execute our this SP with these parameters. If a new row has been inserted in, or if a new record gets inserted in the database, then the value of this I will be greater than 0. So here we will check if I greater than 0, it means if a new record gets inserted, then we will display a message, else we will display another message. So here let's take one string variable, let's say message equals string dot empty. So if I greater than 0, then message is equal to data inserted, else error. Control KD. Finally return this message. Put semicolon over here, and let's also use try catch blocks. So try catch. So by using try catch block, you will save your page by breaking on runtime. So in the try, let's copy this, paste it here, and if any error gets occurred, then we will return message as exception dot message. Save. So that's a pretty straightforward and pretty simple message. Okay, same way, let's copy this and paste it over here. So now let's create a method for login, and instead of SQL command, let's add SQL data adapter. Now in here, let's remove this all. So DA equal new data adapter, copy the login stored procedure name, paste it here, and the connection object. Now DA dot select command dot command type is equal to command type dot stored procedure. Oops. And DA dot select command dot parameters dot add with value. So the first parameter is your name, and this name will come from employee dot name. Copy, paste. So the another one is phone number. So employee dot phone number. After that, Let's take a data table. dt is equal to new data table da dot fill dt. So if the name and phone number, these records exist in this table, then this table gets filled, otherwise this table will be empty. So let's give a validation. If dt dot rows dot count greater than 0, it means these information is available in your db, then message is equal to user is valid, or else if the information is not available in the DB, then user is invalid. Save. So we are done with our both the methods, registration and login. Let's save this. Perfect. Let's try to build this solution. So build has started. So build succeeded, no error. Perfect. Let's run this. Now go back to Visual Studio Code in the source folder. Let's create a new file, login.js, and so here import react from react and function login, return dev login, and export default login. So save. Let's copy this, add new file, registration.js, paste, change the name, registration, copy, save, go to our app.js. So let's import registration and also import login, and let's remove this header part and include your registration first, and after a break line let's add login. Save. Let's remove this logo also, we don't need. Save. Go to browser. Let's open localhost colon 3000, the React.js project. So you see, we are able to see the text. So first of all, go to registration, and here let's add fragment. So fragment is used to render a single element. If you use multiple elements inside this fragment, so React will consider those elements as a single element, because we have a well restriction in your React. We cannot render more than one JSX element. So that's why we use fragment. So let's add label, your name, and let's add input field, input type, text, and id equal txt name, placeholder, and name, one br, copy. So the next one is phone number, txt phone number, and phone number. Last one is address, txt address, address. Finally, let's add a button, save. Save, go to your browser. You see, this is our registration form. And let me give one more BR here. So as of now, I'm not focusing on the designing part. I only want you to understand the logic behind it, how we can use login and sign in or sign up functionality. Design you can take care, all right? So in the registration now, we need to use state. We will use some states. So for the name, set name, use state blank string, copy, and second one is phone number, set phone number, address, set address. So let's declare on change event on change. So handle name change e dot target dot value. So let me first copy this and paste for phone number and address. Change handle phone number and handle address. Let's copy const. We need to declare a handler value and set name as value. Let's copy this, paste, handle phone, handle address, in phone handler set phone, in address set address. Save. So we are done. So here to hit the API or to connect with the API, we need to use a package Axios. So npm I Axios. So it will install your Axios package. So we'll use here. So let's declare a click event. So on click, handle save, const handle save. So here first we need to declare a data. So declare data is equal to name. Our name is okay capital. So give a identical property name and name. So this name is your web API property name and this name is your React.js state variable name. This one. Okay. So don't get confused. Now phone number, phone number, address, address, and is active. So for every new employee, I am giving a static value 1, considering every new employee is a active employee. Okay. So we are done with our employee data. Now let's import one more namespace, import Axios from Axios. So now Axios dot post, we will use post. So first, if you see the intelligence, we need to use a URL and then data. So let's give a variable URL. We'll use a URL here. So URL comma data dot then result. So if result dot data equal go to test controller registration, then alert data saved, else alert result dot data. Or for any case we can alert data because we are getting the correct message from the web API. Dot catch error alert error. Save. So go to your web API project. We need to add one package. So right click on your project, manage NuGet packages. In the browse, type course, try to install it. And meanwhile it is installing, go to your app start, web api.config. We need to use one more namespace, dot course. So enable course attribute, course equal new course. So here if you see origin, headers, methods. So for everything let's give star. Star means it will allow all the requests without any additional information. So config dot enable course and give the object name course. Save. So let's build the project. Will succeeded. So now we need to give a URL here. So before giving URL, let's try to give a route for our controller. So route prefix. So here the route will be API slash test. You can give any name, but I'm giving the name as controller. So save. Try to run this project. So we'll use the base URL and then the controller route and then the method route. So let's copy this base URL, go to VS Code, so paste it here, and after that go to your Visual Studio, copy your controller route and paste it here, and then your method, paste, save. So go to browser, run the React.js project. So let's try to give a name. Let's give any name, phone number, address, click on save. So now we are in Visual Studio. As I put a breakpoint, so let's click on continue. So you can see data inserted, perfect. Now go to your SQL server, try to select this command, perfect. So we are having our data, nice. So our registration is completed. Now let's go to Visual Code again in the login.js. So let's quickly copy these two input fields, copy and paste inside the fragment. Similarly, copy your button. So let's change it to login, handle login, and copy these two packages and also copy the states on change and the handler. Copy this and paste it here. So let's change the name first of all, handle login. So for login, if you see your web API method, we only need name and phone. So in the data, let's remove other two properties and change your route to login, save, and yeah, that's it. Go to browser. Oops, let me give a name label also here, save. So let's copy the name, phone number, login. So we are here in, let me remove the breakpoint, click on continue. So user is valid. Let's say if I try to give any random number which is not present, so user is invalid. Perfect. So this is about today's video, and I have one announcement. Let's say if you are looking for a project for your college assignment, or if you are doing any internship and your mentor has assigned some project to submit, then I do the paid projects for interns and for students. So if you have any kind of requirement related to this, so you can contact me on my Instagram. My Instagram handle is open programmer. You can also find the contact details in channel description. So that's it for today. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye bye.